So here is shift number two, which is simplify to scale. So basically, once your identity is fixed, we are going to shift number two, which is simplify to scale. So how does this work? Sim- it's actually simple. We all know, you can hear, I'm sure you know, on this online space, it's always being said, it's not easy, especially when you just starting your own online business, but it's simple because it really is very simple. And what I realized when I just started is, first, we always get very, very excited, right? So because you get this high income claims, and then you are just actually sitting at your home, with a laptop lifestyle, sitting on a beach, drinking martinis and all that stuff, and then you get this pings and all that stuff. So that's how they market it, right? So it's very attracting, right? But when you get started, you get very excited, and then once you start doing the work, the excitement, the longer you are in the game, the less your excitement becomes, and then your frustration started coming up, rising up, right? That's that's normal. That happens with everyone. It happened to me. And the problem is, once the longer you are, the higher your frustration, the less your excitement. That's actually the point where people are actually starting on a different strategy, or they shift another course, or they do, because in the online space there are so many opportunities, there are so many options, and there's so many ways. So what people do when they are on the what we call the valley of death, when you're on the lowest pit, right? The excitement is totally gone, but the frustration is there. You actually shift to another one. Then you go to a different program. Then you start become excited again. And then when you are very excited, then once you started, it's actually same story. The longer you then you realize, oh, then you finally, because you always start looking on the result. But what you mostly miss, what I missed in that time, is there is another problem, another different problem that needs to be fixed before you get those results. And that cycle is happening continuously, repeatedly. Okay? So, simplicity scales if you just master one thing first, and complexity suffocates. Okay? That's why it's not easy. Why? Because there are so many options. There are so many distractions in the online space, because there are so many ways to be successful. So most people are drowning in complexity, multiple offers, half finished freebies, and overthinking every post. So you are all over the place. So let's let's break this down, right? Complexity in multiple drowning in complexity. Normally, if you have one offer, you only solve one problem, right? But there are offers which actually can solve multiple problems, and people jump in on that right away. Okay, so in just one offer solving multiple problems, you are actually marketing it, solving five problems. So your content is spread out on these five problems, or it becomes a general message. So if you have a general message and it's not specific, people who will see your post will actually not really be will not feel your solution because it's generalized. Okay, so if you just put making money online, there are millions of people posting that. So it's just common. You will never stand out unless you are more specific, because the more specific you do, the more you attract people who are actually struggling on that specific pain. That makes you stand out, and that makes you stop and scroll. If people see your solution is like directly speaking to them, they will stop, and that's how they will check you out. Okay, so multiple offers. Just like I said, a lot of people think you need to have a multiple income streams in order to make more money, which in somehow it is true as long as you master one income stream, right? If you master one offer, if you can market off one offer and you become successful on this one offer, then you can then grow your offers with multiple offers. But that can only happen when you master one. So, okay? Half finished freebies, overthinking every post. Half finished freebies, people like all those freebies, and all those freebies leads to a different offer. So if you have all different kind of freebies, you will get all this information, and instead you're going to benefit in this information. What end up is you become confused, right? You get information overload, and when you get information overload, you are totally loaded. You don't know what to do anymore, right? You always get excited in the first time, and then suddenly you get confused because you don't know how to execute it. It's too much information which you cannot even handle. So overthinking every post. If you are posting, you are thinking about all those different things, the visuals, the fonts, right? All those the hooks, right? But missing the point is just because there's so many ways, so many so many things that people think is important to the post is basically what only truly matters is the message. It's all about the message, that one simple thing. So it's not about those visual is important, all those hooks, but if you it doesn't matter what visual you have, but it's the message that really actually caught interest on the people, right? So what happens if you are actually spreading thin on everything? This Your goal is to have a full glass. Okay? So your goal is to have a full glass, but if you keep on jumping around, this is what happened. You fill up one glass, you went into one offer, right? And then you get disappointed because you're not getting the result that you're expecting to have, or you are encountering certain problems that was not mentioned in the marketing, right? And you are struggling, and then you just say, hey, fuck it. Let's go to the next one. Same scenario. You get very excited, so you put your energy on this one glass, you started promoting it, and then you're not getting the result that was been promised, that you are gonna get 10K in 1 month, right? Or you will get a Lamborghini after 3 months, but you still end up walking and using public transport, and you just actually go back, jump to another one. There's a new AI program that you only need to work 1 hour a week and you will get 10K to 30K months. Boom, you jump to this one. You invested, and then you see there's an upsells. Before you can do that, and you need to pay another 300, blah, blah, blah. So this is what is happening. And after this, when people get so frustrated, they quit. And then once you quit, then guaranteed you just failed. Okay? You never achieve anything. All you do was waste your time, like having a second job, but you're not getting paid. Just waste of money, waste of time. It's just frustrating, right? But this is why it's not easy, but it is very simple. Why is it simple? Is you just if you just focus on one thing, put all your energy, focus on one platform, focus all your energy on one simple thing. There will be struggles in life. There is always a struggle, and a struggle is good. Struggle is healthy because that's how we learn. If there is no struggle, there will be no result, right? It's the struggle that gives you the lesson, that gives you the knowledge, because on the later stage, the more you overcome every struggle, the more you solve a problem. The more you do that, that's how you will reach your goal. Because once you are on this situation, You will encounter people who will be struggling on those problems that you have encountered, and you can provide those solutions, right? So the more problem you solve, the more solution you have, the more people you can help, and just rinse and repeat. That's all. That's how simple it is. Okay? So, the people who scale, they go narrow, deep, one clear message, one offer, one simple path, just like I just mentioned, right? Focus on one platform, right? One offer, and if this offer has a multiple solution on a different focus on one solution only, right? If it's the solution is to save more time, or is the solution to automate the business, is if there's solution is actually to get what do you call it, to have a simple tool that actually, there's a lot of problem that it can solve. So, and very important, you need to speak to one specific person, so that needs to be aligned. So your offer going to this one simple problem, so if it's time saving, or it is it is automating things, or if you're the problem, it solves the tech issues, for example. So you focus on this one offer, use one platform, one message, one path, one problem, and to one specific person, to the person who is struggling on that specific problem, right? Because if you focus on that, if you keep on refining that, that's how you master that skill. And if you create a content, people will see your post, they will feel like you're talking to them directly, they will instantly trust you, or they will start liking you. If you keep on showing up, they will like you, right? And that's how, and you keep on showing up, and they will keep on following you. And if you keep all the same, keep on refine using the same message, they will feel like you're talking directly to them, and that's how they will start following you and trusting you. Okay, so confused energy repels, but clean energy converts. Okay, that's why clarity equals to cash. The more precise your positioning, the easier the yes. So people don't need more. They need something they actually understand. They don't need more information. All they need is one clear message. Because the more information you give them, the more confused they will be. All you need is a one specific message, specific solution that clearly goes into that single pain point, right? The more clear your message is, the more they will understand you. Okay? So a confused mind always says no, so make it easy for them to say yes. So just keep it simple, don't complicate it. It's really that simple. Don't be distracted. Focus on this one thing to achieve your goal. Master one thing, right? That's the fastest way and the most simple way, and that's how clear it is. Okay? It's not really hard. The one thing is hard is we make it difficult for ourselves. It doesn't have to be that difficult. Okay, the problem is there's so much distraction. Get rid of that distraction, because learning really is not about consuming. It's just you take action from what you, or from what single program or what simple skill. The more actions you take, the more you learn, right? But the more you consume on all different stuff, you will just end up confused. So focus on one thing, trust the process, right? Everybody mastered one skill, and it makes sense, right? Think about it. Okay, so in the next video, let's talk about the third shift. So first was the identity. So you need to fix first your identity. Make clear for your identity, right? So once your identity is fixed, then you go simplify to scale, simplify your strategy, keep it simple. And after that, let's go to the third shift, is build from your vision and not from void. So I will see you on the next video, okay? I